gets kidnapped. He's one of the great lizards of our faith. So other than sneaking girls into the window, people actually get invited to go out with friends. Is that a thing that happens? The results were clean and the results were unequivocally no crush. The great application tool is photo ranking yet again. They might even have to put that above the great application of Snapchat. We are always going to be allies with MI6. Let's all open up our Bibles and I have a lecture here, people. Like, what are you people doing? We may even be crawling in dumpsters. But look, we will never lose to MI6. That will never ever happen. In fact, I will admit to this is actually what is being proudly, patriotically, unapologetically America's. And the friends who don't know that I exist. You and I am with you.
Pulse, the heartbeat of America. And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pulse Podcast by the Tech Boy. We have some important topics to get to today, but we have some interviews that I want to get to. I was able to interview a GCU finance major about the technology behind that. So that's what this podcast is going to end off as well. So make sure you guys check that out. I'm just going to add this to my story to tell everybody that we are live because I've been able to talk to a lot of people throughout lots of interviews and pick up some more Instagram follows. So I hope you guys can see this on the screen. But we have headlines from the techboy.org to get into, and then we'll get to our main story and topic for today, and then we'll head over to our interviews. We actually have two. Once again, SSA was proven right again. Guys, can you believe that my foreign policy and the polling data that we actually have now, previously, when I was referencing polling data, I was looking at statistics and just general trends, but I didn't actually go out and poll anybody. But these statistics and general trends, I abided by that policy, and it worked out well for me. Well, we went out, got some actual polling data, and guys, guess what? It worked out well for me as well. So let's first pull up on the screen the techboy.org. We have two headlines from the techboy.org. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. Still back using our why isn't it showing? Okay, maybe we'll work on this one. No. That's the one thing I do not like about OBS is that the screen sharing software is just not the best. When you try to pull up showing windows on the screen or something of that nature, it's not showing right now. So I'm going to go cut back to this where I can try to work on that.
He gets kidnapped. He's one of the great lizards of our faith. So other than sneaking girls into the window, people actually get invited to go out with friends. Is that a thing that happens? The results were clean and the results were unequivocally no crush. The great application tool is photo ranking yet again. They might even have to put that above the great application of Snapchat. We are always going to be allies with MI6. Let's all open up our Bibles and I have a lecture here, people. Like, what are you people doing? We may even be crawling in dumpsters. But look, we will never lose to MI6. That will never ever happen. In fact, I will admit to this is actually what is being proudly, patriotically, unapologetically America's. And the friends who don't know that I exist. You and I am with you.
Pulse, the heartbeat of America. All right, guys, we are back. Hopefully, we can see what's on the screen now. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. Here it is from the techboy.org. Hope you guys can see this. Come on. Oh, yeah, it's up. All right, good. All right, anyway, here are headlines from the techboy.org. I want to get into these headlines. They're very important. I want to talk about Samsung Secure Folder, and then I'm going to talk about if it wants us to load here, Instagram edits, which I was using to make my massive interview. And I also was able to interview someone who, guys, guess what? Was like SSA LTW come to life. We're going to watch the full thing over on Instagram. It was amazing, guys. I was proven right yet again. No one has been vindicated like me in this week. No one else has been vindicated as much as me. But first, let's get over to Samsung Secure Folder, get to much needed update. So Samsung Secure Folder kind of broke in One UI 8. We've talked about this before. Circle to search was broken. Samsung One UI 8 broke some of the features as well, including the one that they just fixed right now. pictures and accessing files from inside of secure folder when you wanted to upload them to the internet somewhere. If it wasn't inside sort of a dedicated application such as Instagram and the like or Snapchat, then it really would not work out as well. You have to go through this huge file tree inside the secure folder application. Previously, you could go in the gallery application or the My Files application inside the secure folder and directly interact with your protected photos, videos, and documents. Um, but now they had to go dig through a complex file tree structure starting off in DCIM and other root folders, which is very complicated and very hard. And it was a lot easier to move said files from secure folder into your unsecure phone and then just access them from there and share them through the internet because the secure folder has access to your non-secure folder files, but it doesn't work vice versa, obviously. Now, Samsung has fixed this issue. This is the big fix they have done. Now, I would like to see some other fixes as well. Auto locking when exiting the application. That would make Samsung Secure Folder a lot better. I'd like to see just better Samsung reset options, circle to search within Samsung Secure Folder, and consistent behavior across the applications within Samsung Secure Folder. Those are some of the what AI recommended, but I would really would like to see Samsung Secure Folder bring back screen overlay applications. You know, when we talked about this time last year, you could bring Perplexity up over the screen and probably Gemini as well, and of course Google Circle to search. Right, it was more like it was a completely full phone. I could live in that system. Well, unfortunately for Samsung Secure Folder users, that was not really possible. Now it's coming back to a return to normalcy. So I think that is a great thing. I think that's amazing for Samsung Secure Folder because you know what's good for Samsung Secure Folder means it's good for the phone overall. It's good for your phone security. It means that Samsung Knox is still being developed as well. You know, I hope that they do not turn away and depart from this feature like they talked about on Linux in uh, they used to have Linux on DeX back in like Android 9 or 10ish, I believe, and you know now it's gone. But I wanted to show you guys this interview I did. This is an interview with some people who might be watching on live right now, and this is the most SSA LTW interview that has ever happened in the history of planet Earth. So imagine, you know, in our SSA LTW extended universe where you have people who have their election being stolen and they have their election being hacked and they have powers that are in the election and of course like in this book that's going to come up on the screen. I forgot the name of it. It's kind of like a green book and it always talks about enemies to lovers and teenage dating being a threat to national security and influencing the high school elections. Well guys, people thought I was crazy when I was talking about that for multiple times, and guys, guess what? I actually found something like this. It happened. We don't have to reference books anymore, and that's also going to bring us back to the polling data that I was talking about previously. Right, previously when I was talking about the polling data, I would reference, you know, books and the internet and trends that I would see in day-to-day life, but I haven't actually polled very many people. I had polled a few people on what was going on, and I knew that I was trending in the right direction. I felt that I was trending in the right direction, and guess what? When I went out there and actually got the polling data, and thank you, Megan Basham, for bashing Altered State. I was able to get some polling data on that, and guys, I'm just gonna give you a spoiler alert on that one as well. Uh, I overwhelmingly won. Guys, trust the polls. Trust the polls. Anyway, I hope you
Hi
guys
everybody, I'm Charlie.
see this. Wrong thing. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. Let's get to our interview. Lots of interviews today. Lots of interviews. Oh, I have to stay in here. Sorry. That's why, of course, the high school election simulator would have done wonders here had the election not been hacked and stolen. Ah, yeah. Sources say. Sources say that was a great book. I believe you probably went over this in the podcast last year, over in like the summer in the MI6 era, of course. And you know that was a great book. I didn't get to finish it, but I got through like most of it. There was, remember that terrible high school election book where it was just like some illegal immigrant Canadian that was trying to run for president or something. That was just trash. That was a garbage book. I mean, it was just garbage. And God bless you all as well. Yes, guys, I was proven yet right yet again in this great interview. Now that the fun and games is out of the way, we'll get to our second interview of the day where we find out that my bowling dollar was, wow, guys, would you look at that? Correct, yet again. We have to talk about this horrible and dangerous trend that is persisting across the United States of America. These radical domestic terrorists who hate artificial intelligence and are kind of, quite frankly, dumb. So let's go turn over to the thing here. Where's it going? No. Okay, come on. OBS is just pathetic at this point. I mean, it should be able to capture windows a lot easier than this. Like, come on, man. Let's see if I can open up. There we go. All right, hope you guys can see this on the screen. I'm just gonna stay inside of the tab. What? Why is it doing that? Did Chrome just crash? Oh, there we go. Anyway, here, let's read this. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. I'm gonna have to stop using the software. Anyway, breaking. 13 shots fired into home of Indianapolis counselor. Note reading, no data centers left at scene. So let's take one here. And here's another thing that happened here. Per Fox News, breaking. Suspect throws Molotov cocktail at OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's home, according to company spokesman. So let's go to the first story from Resist Wire here. So the first thing is that this is obviously bad. It is wrong. It is evil. It should not have been done. You do not shoot people like this for, over different opinions because they didn't vote the way that you want, because they voted for something like this. It doesn't matter what the opinion is. It doesn't matter what the thought is. You shouldn't shoot at them. You shouldn't shoot at them unless they are directly threatening you, not by voting the way you don't like, but like they are coming to your house with a gun. Then yeah, sure. But no, you should not do this. No, I don't care what the issue is. But in this case, he was right. He voted to build some data centers, and the people who oppose the data centers are some of the dumbest people known to man. A story came out this week saying that the people who hate data centers, the anti-AI people, are talking to ChatGPT to talk about how they can destroy the data centers. You know, the touch grass totalitarians are like, burn down the data centers. Well, someone's actually trying to do that, except they're using the data centers ChatGPT against them, which is just stupid and hypocritical and wrong. If you really believed that these data centers and that you really believe that artificial intelligence was going to take over the world, then you wouldn't be using it, okay? It'd be like going up in the 1850s and protesting slavery while then going and asking the slaveholders what's the best way you can use your cotton. That's not something that you should do. I am, of course, not opposed to the data centers. I am pro ChatGPT, but if the people who are anti growth, anti America, and obviously domestic terrorists, I mean, I don't think they should be allowed to be using ChatGPT. They can stay back in the Stone Age. They can stay back without having access to the internet because, again, this data center freakout is stupid. These other data center people, of course, these anti data center people, of course, are now building websites and sharing videos, these huge celebrations of the most stupid and annoying people you have ever seen dancing around. You know, oh gosh, we don't have a data center in our town anymore. Woo! And uploading these to the internet and giving out QR codes so that they can go call their senators and protest data centers. Except if these people hadn't been born and, you know, had some random issue pressed upon them in like 22, 23, they'd know that the internet works on a data center. Data centers did not magically just sprout out of the ground and become invented in 2022 when ChatGPT came. OpenAI did not invent the data center. They didn't even invent the LLM, right? A data center is just a center that hosts data. Data centers actually predate the World Wide Web. They were around in the 50s and in the 60s, right? These people were out they hosted data like maybe tapes on tapes, and now they host electronic data, and they hosted websites and videos, YouTube, everything that you liked about the internet. Everyone talks about, oh, how the internet was such a better place back in the 90s and how the world was much a better place in the 80s, but what they don't realize is that the data that was on the internet in the 90s and the early 2000s was hosted on a data center. Most people on the internet, we're not hosting all their websites, homegrown. It's not extremely efficient, and yeah, sure, it gives rise to large corporations, but large corporations are a good thing. You don't want to have to build each and every one, 8 billion people, their own Google. You don't want to have to build your own operating system for every single person on planet Earth. It's ridiculous and it's stupid. Now, talking about this sort of nostalgia, people looking back on the 80s, I want to pose this question to the anti-data center people. Okay, what then should we build? What then should we innovate? And again, I think there's some sort of a crossover between the anti-data center people and the people who oppose going to space, either because A, they don't believe it and think it's some sort of conspiracy theory that the Earth is flat or that space doesn't exist or there's some sort of belt in there or it's anti-religious, etc. Those people, of course. And you also have the people who who just don't have any sort of sense of awe or wonder or discovery. They're like, oh, well, my life was fine like this before. So people were commenting, oh, my life was fine before the data centers. Well, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, and your life was fine before the internet. And, you know, some of these people, their lives was fine before they had a car. And some of these people, you know, their life was fine before that. And so, I mean, everyone's life, all you need is food, water, and shelter to live, right? Technically, all you need is a cave and some way to get water and sticks so you can go out there and hunt for your own food. That is technically all you need to live. But it isn't a good, prosperous life. That's not. It's against the ethos of America to be against this innovation. That is why we are a great country, because we go out and reach to the stars. We just sent uh, uh man and woman to the moon and around it further than any human has been before. We sent a smartphone up there to the moon. Yeah, sure, it was an iPhone, but that smartphone had more processing power than the original moon mission's moon landing computer. And it only costs like what, about $1,000. So we just sent a personal supercomputer, some astronauts all the way to the moon, and we were able to live stream it over, of course, the internet and 4G and 5G, and communicate with each other like that and get photos from a cell phone of the moon. That is remarkably cool. Likewise, data centers are also remarkably cool and remarkably efficient, and they're going to help build and bolster the economy. Like these, I heard that Maine signed some sort of 3-year moratorium on data center construction. I mean, like I said, it would be easier to build a data center on the moon than to explain to these idiots what a data center actually is, what it actually does. They seem to believe that this is some sort of big, bad, terroristic thing that's going to take over the world, when in reality, it's just a data center. It's a center that hosts Data. That is what a data center is. In any case, now let's go check the comments on this post. I'm sure it's filled with love. Like maybe some people who say, "Oh, I'm anti-AI," but maybe we shouldn't shoot the people who are against us. You know, the people who are so scared that artificial intelligence is going to take over the world and that we're going to have Terminator movies running around with artificial intelligence robots going around. You know, I read the story about how these delivery robots in Philadelphia got beat up, and I said that is wrong. That is vandalism. And guess what? Someone in the group chat said, "Oh well, you know, robots are not human." So what? Vandalism is wrong. These people, these Philadelphians who beat up the robots should be arrested. And the person who did this act of terror should be arrested for domestic terrorism, right? This is anti-America, it's anti-growth, and it's also quite frankly dangerous. The artificial intelligence, I'm not aware of any artificial intelligence actually going up and killing somebody. No, if you talk to ChatGPT and it tells you to jump off a bridge, that's not you. I mean, if I tell you to jump off a bridge and you jump off a bridge, that's wrong of me to do so. But I am not culpable for your. It's not a motive, okay? That's not how that works. You are in control of your own actions. I mean, if ChatGPT, if a computer program told you to jump off a bridge, don't do that. Right? That is my law. So no, ChatGPT has not killed anybody. It cannot kill anyone because it is a chat program. It'd be like if someone wrote down instructions on how to murder somebody on Microsoft Word. Well, oh, okay. I'm just making sure that this is still going. Oh yeah, if someone wrote down instructions on how to murder somebody on Microsoft Word. Oh, well, it wasn't. Well, it's streaming, but it wasn't taping. Well, whatever. It was like if someone wrote down instructions on how to murder somebody on Microsoft Word. Guys, guess what? Microsoft Word did not kill that person. You did. If ChatGPT tells you to commit a crime or gives you bad advice, and you follow through with that advice, ChatGPT is not culpable for said mistake. Or I mean, it might be held liable, but it did not do it. You did it yourself. The violent people, the anti-American people, are the people who are anti-AI. Now let's go check into the comments here. I'm pretty sure they're all, quite frankly, loving. Let's see what these memes are saying. When you realize that the only way this ends is when people start doing things you can't post about online, directly hinting at illegal actions and murder. What do you mean by this? You don't want a building going up in your town? You don't want a data center going up in your town? Why? I don't understand the idealism of the 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever time period that you like living in. I mean, even Matt Walsh was talking about how life was so much better back in 2007 before the iPhone came out. Look, nostalgia is a heck of a drug. It is a hold on the American people. The American people who are taking this nostalgia drug are going to hold us back from progress. And other countries that don't have this stupid drug, but don't have our morals and rightness and goodness are going to use this. And guys, guess what? This is the artificial intelligence era. I mean, it's not like you can just ban it all. I mean, it's a computer program that runs on. You can run it in the RAM on your computer. It's going to scale, and it's actually easier to put a data center in space than it is to put it in some states because some people are ridiculous. I mean, we could have fresh, clean nuclear power 24/7. We could have solved this problem a long time ago, 50 years ago. But the same people who are anti-artificial intelligence are the same people who are anti-nuclear reactors back in the 70s. So we have seen what that mistake led to today, which is of course having to be dependent on oil. I'm a fan of oil as well, but nuclear it's cleaner and safer, and you can generate here. You don't have to go out and drill it in other countries. And well, we don't want to have to outsource our AI to other countries because we've seen other countries' AI. Their entire ethos of artificial intelligence is being like Claude, but more annoying. Oh, guys, we're European. We follow these data protection laws and regulations, and we're better than the snobby Americans, and we like China, and et cetera, et cetera. That's not what we want to see from our artificial intelligence. Let's go see here. Modern problems require modern solutions. Oh, look, guys, it's some guy on the internet. He's the average everyday citizen saying that you should, tell people on drugs to go take data centers. Wow, how original, guy. Yeah. Could you please tell me how your video is on Instagram? Because I'm pretty sure Instagram is not a peer-to-peer sharing application. Did you self-host Instagram or TikTok in your bedroom, sir? No, no, it is hosted on a data center. Let's keep moving on here. Good to know that someone out there truly understands the stakes of these things. Stakes. Yeah, the stakes of having a data center. The stakes is either freedom, prosperity, and American global dominance. We have artificial intelligence data centers, or poverty, and pathetic and being ruled over by our enemies. What do you want? I don't know. Let me guess. I'm going to go with the first option, having data centers for a better American future. If someone says, sincerely, what is the other option? Democracy doesn't work when they sell out their constituents. Oh. Ah, yes. Yeah, guys. So, if someone votes, doesn't vote the way that you want, because apparently, as you can see from the comments section here, the people are stupid. They don't know what they want. They really don't know anything. And because he decided, rightfully so, that hey guys, maybe I'm not going to vote in such an anti-America way. Well, well, since the people, every time someone says the people, well, it's like, ugh, you people are ridiculous. Politicians haven't been tarred and feathered in the wild, and it shows. Okay, that's we the people have had enough with data centers. Okay, I mean you are fine and welcome, and I want you to delete your account. That'd be great. And this person says, I like it. I like it a lot. Reaching, I mean, you see all these people coming in here. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, quite frankly. They all hate the internet. It's sick. It's evil. It's wrong to do this to people. You shouldn't be throwing Molotov cocktails. Let's go check the comment section on this one. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, did he hit it? Bro, please don't worry about why you pay more in taxes than billionaires. Could people just be lying? No, you don't. No, you don't. I know you want to pretend that you're oppressed, but you don't. Well, I don't know who you are. I mean, like, no, you don't. That's not how math works. And no, oh, I do like some of these people. They're saying that the British know to deal with the Luddites. Get rid of these people. It's more of a 50-50 split here. Anyway, to talk about having peaceful revolution. I really don't know what their end goal is at this point. Obviously, they don't know anything because they're anti-data center while posting content that needs to be hosted on said data center, and then uh, and then giving out websites and QR codes about uh how they need to all everyone needs to get more anti AI now, more anti data center now, and obviously going out and protesting, uh, the data centers because it's it's a trendy thing to do. It's not like they actually have any morals or beliefs of any sort. All right, now guys, let's get to our street interview of the day. Megan Basham, let's see this. And when I saw this, I died. I was laughing so hard when I saw this post. So hard when I saw this. It is beautiful. This is one of the beautiful posts of the internet, honestly. And I like to thank Megan Basham. I like her a lot. I like to thank her personally for writing this gem of a post because it allowed me to be able to go out and create interviews like this again. So please, send me more stupid takes. I like her a lot, but I have to be loyal to my allies. Well, I said that I'm here for you and I'm with you and I will always be by your side and I'm here for you allies. And so let's go see what this tweet has to say. Megan Basham, quote, I really don't understand Altered State. It's supposed to be a Christian company. They play Christian music in the stores and sell all of this Christian branded merchandise. And yet their clothes are as hoochie, if not hoochier, than anything I see at non-Christian retailers. It's kind of the opposite of a good witness. Now, this is the photos are going to play in the video, but I'm just going to look here at the carousel. Now, let's let's read this. This is the Sophie Lace trim romper. This yeah, oh, okay, that's okay. There we go. This is the is that the same thing? I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a fashion expert. I'm just an interviewer. And that's also obviously not the same thing. And then we have this, the Tira crochet vest. Great. Now, that was what she said, and most people in the comments agreed with her. So I wanted to see what the people with boots on the ground who have a vested interest and stake in this actually have to say, and not what podcasters on the internet have to say about this, about Altered State. Now, when I did this interview, I made sure that the people knew what Altered State was. They didn't have to buy an Altered State, but I made sure they knew what it was. So there would have been more people in here if I just didn't check to see if they knew what Altered State was. I sometimes would then show them the images of this. I took these images and compiled them together into a collage. What? Chrome is freezing right now. I took the images and compiled them together into a collage so that they could see them. And I did not cut anybody. Everyone who was interviewed has made it into the video. The only people who were cut was if they went long, like they went on and on, long-winded, long-winding response. I just cut the responses, but I still included them in the interview. So everybody was included. I did not select these people, and in the sense that I like handpicked them. I just went out and asked them if they wanted to be in the video. So what we are going to see is what is coming from the hearts and minds of these people. At least we would see this if Chrome didn't decide to freeze at this time. And I can't close Chrome because that's what it's streaming to. So while we work on Chrome, let's go to the GCU Financial Advisor interview.
Hi everybody, I'm Charlie Hurst. I am a part of the Finance and Economics Club here at GCU. I'm a freshman and I am also the Director of Operations. And we run our own podcast here with GCU Finance and Economics on YouTube.
Man, that's great. So you do podcasting. I did this. How did you get into podcasting?
Yeah, so I've always been into like public speaking. I ran a business in high school where we got to pitch in front of about 400 people and 6 judges. And I just really like public speaking. And I had an opportunity in the finance club to get involved with this podcast. And we really just took it from there. Mary Claire Pelk has been a very good host for our show, and she's done great. So,
man, that's amazing. So this is a technology and culture podcast. So I want to get into the behind the scenes of the finance sector and behind the scenes of making a podcast. So your podcast is about what's happening in financial news and stocks, right?
yeah.
So how do you do your research for something like that?
Yeah, so I got into it about 2 years ago. So I use an app called Yahoo Finance, which tracks live stocks.
Oh yeah, I
and
have that.
It gives an update about what they're doing, as well as it gives you news from the source Yahoo. And I also look at the Wall Street Journal, as well as obviously like your live broadcasting of news channels like Fox News, CBS, CNN, all of those. But yeah, that gives like pretty good overall articles about what's happening.
And do you have a favorite source?
Favorite source. I usually just am looking at Yahoo Finance for live updates about what's going on, and it's really easy to use that one because while the stocks are updating, then you can also see what's happening in the news to really understand.
Oh, yeah, that's finance. Great. I use that application a lot. I just use my email to get access to the Wall Street Journal, so that's good and all. But do you do any sort of trading or like for personal research apps to use for that?
Yeah, I do a lot of trading. So I got into that as well 2 years ago. My teacher, Mr. Krause, he actually taught me about it. And I got into options trading and swing trading. And then from there, I took that to day trading. But the apps I use for that, I use an app called TradingView. So it gives you live chart updates when you're looking at a bar chart. And obviously, Yahoo Finance is for that more long-term view because you can see the charts in the news there. But if you're using TradingView, it's more for that short-term trading that you see a lot of people on TikTok do. But yeah, that's about it.
So you said you're into day trading. How do you do that? So I was interested in that.
Yeah, so there's this website that I use. It's called Top Step. So you can get funded $50,000 from them after you pass a trading combine. It's kind of like a test.
Okay.
So you have to profit $3,000 with fake money over a period of 3 days. And then after you pass that combine, then they give you $50,000 to trade with. And that's really beneficial because it costs about, I think it's around $100 to do a combine. and then after that, once you pass, then you can trade and make real money.
So have you passed the combine?
I've passed a lot of combines.
Nice. Wow, sounds really useful. Hopefully, I can get into that. And onto the behind the scenes, when you're producing the podcast, what kind of software and technology are you using on that podcast?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea just
okay.
because I'm not the one that's running it. So it's actually, we have a podcast room in the College Colangelo of Business,
Mhm.
and they have a team there. They all work for the podcast room, and they run things for us. But I think that's really about it.
Okay, that's nice. So you just come up with the topics that you discuss?
Yeah, pretty much. It's really nice.
Yeah. So what do you discuss on there? I've only seen like one episode.
Yeah, so we talk about the markets and what the markets did for the day. So today, I think the S&P was up about 2.5%, and the Nasdaq was around there as well. So we will discuss why the markets are moving. So last night there was a ceasefire deal that was announced by President Trump. So the markets moved overnight to that high percentage, and then this morning, or I don't know if it was this morning, but it was around noon, I think, when Iran claimed that Israel broke the ceasefire deal. And we haven't seen the impact of that on the markets yet, but I assume that they're going to drop again tomorrow. So we discuss things like that. And then at the end of the podcast, we do a segment where we talk about how this is relevant to college students. And we talk about a topic. So today we talk about networking. So how networking is important for college students to really help them with jobs in the future.
Yeah.
And really get to meet people. So we try to bring it to that college audience as well.
Yeah, I think it's super important. And since this isn't live, I'll put up if the market does change by the time this video comes out in editing. But how do you network? Because I think that's like a top skill that people need to have, but they don't really know.
Yeah, so I think networking is really about what scenarios you put yourself in. So obviously, being a part of the finance club, it's easier to go to these events and put yourself in scenarios where it's easy to make connections with people.
Yeah.
So when you go to club events at your college, no matter what major you are, it's always going to be a good opportunity to go and speak with other college students that have the same goals as you, and put yourself in a scenario where you're around smart people. And even for the finance club, we have speakers from these firms come in, and it's good to network with them because they could be people that you could have a job opportunity from in the future.
Yeah, and what do you talk to the students and the firm leaders about?
Yeah, so usually when you're networking, you want to find something in common with somebody. You don't want to just approach them about like your accomplishments or something. If you're trying to build a relationship, you want to ask them a question, like maybe, hey, I'm assuming you're a finance major, but like, what made you get into finance? Like, what's the job that you're looking for in the future? Stuff like that. Just really simple, small questions that really help you get to know a person quickly. And then you can go into questions about like, oh, what's your favorite sports team? You keep it personal. So then you have that personal relationship with that person.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Being able to network and communicate with all of these people. Uh, do you use your phone a lot in finance, or any like favorite apps other than Yahoo Finance or stock trading?
Yeah, so I brought up TradingView as well. TradingView is the main one that I use because I am a short-term trader and I like to look at bar charts. But there's a lot of apps out there that can really help you with um, like stock picks and getting into the deeper elements of a company, talking about like their earnings reports and stuff. And I think Yahoo Finance is the best one for that. There's a bunch of other ones that can go deeper into that as well, but I personally like Yahoo Finance.
And what is your end goal for this, for like your personal life?
Yeah, so as far as like a job goes, I personally want to be a trader on a trading floor, which is kind of like a classic finance job.
Yeah. I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think it would be really cool to be the person executing the trades for like a financial advisor or something. I think that'd be really cool. If not, then I want to go into consulting. So my dad's actually a consultant, and he goes and helps startup companies build and offers solutions for them. And he does a lot of public speaking and like presenting PowerPoints and stuff like that. And I think that's something that I would really thrive in.
And on the trading floor, how would you get paid? Do you get paid hourly, or do you get paid based on the performance of the stock?
I'm not 100% sure. I think a lot of trading is commission based. So, say I make $10,000 on a trade for a customer, then I would be getting commission from that. But I'm sure.
So when you're making these connections, and I've been talking to the artificial intelligence chatbot Grok about this a lot. It
Okay.
says that I am like strategic when I'm trying to talk to people, but it thinks that I have a hard time connecting with people. I think that's somewhat true as well. So how do you manage between networking and making friends, and is it easy to make friends in your department?
I think it's actually really easy to make friends in finance. This is just from a personal experience, though. Obviously, being in college, everybody's looking to make new friends.
Yeah.
So going to my first day at the finance club when we were doing the leadership development program, you meet a couple guys and they're like your buddies. But
Yeah.
I was walking in there not networking. I was looking to build relationships and make new friends because it was pretty early on into my college career. And I think the difference between networking and making friendships is I think network builds friendships, but when you're networking, you're really just trying to build relationships with these people to have sort of a connection for later in life. So say you go and network with somebody and maybe they're just a finance major now, but in 10 years they might be one of the richest people alive. Then they call you up and be like, hey, like I really enjoyed our time in college. Like, do you want to work for me? And that's where networking pays off, is because you know so many people and you've built relationships over a period of time. But networking builds friendships as well.
Yeah, I think there's so many people here who also aren't in finance, but just don't have as much ambition, but they could grow up to become some of the richest people alive, and I think that's important. But when you're in these friendships, like how do you make sure that they don't, just forget about you or see you as surface level? Like how do you make true connections with them?
Yeah, I kind of found my people going into second semester. I went golfing with a couple of the guys from Finance Club.
Oh, nice.
And we just started hanging out from then. And it really got into like a deeper friendship. And I think over a period of time, you are like that at the beginning of a friendship and then it gets deeper. But I really think that you're able to make a deep connection with these people.
So you're just saying like time and activities?
Yeah,
So
100%.
first semester is like what, 60, 70 days?
Probably something
Like that. Yeah, okay. So you just need to have time and activities like golf, and did you do any other activities?
Yeah, so for the Finance Club, we also hosted a couple of pickleball events.
Oh,
So
nice.
we would have speakers come in and play pickleball with us. And that was a good opportunity to make some friends.
Is that one of the sports that, like, I guess the elite play, like golf and lacrosse, things of that nature?
I don't know. I think pickleball is more of an older sport. So I think pickleball's got really popular over the past
Super
couple of
popular,
years.
yeah.
But it's mostly among old people. I think it's more of an old person sport.
They are rich. Well, some of them are,
I mean, yeah, I don't really know. I haven't looked into that, but golf is definitely one of them, like you mentioned.
Yeah. And I guess for our last question for today, I'd like to have you come on again and talk more about, your personal life and growing up.
Yeah.
Do you utilize artificial intelligence in your trading and in finance?
Yeah, so when I first started trading, I did a lot of my research with AI, especially ChatGPT, because that was the only big one
Oh, okay.
back then.
Which year was this?
This was probably 2 years ago now.
24?
Yeah, I think so.
So,
Yeah, it was mainly ChatGPT dominated, but I had it create not an algorithm, but a strategy for me. So there's this broad strategy with call options. It's called the Black-Scholes theory. So I would go in and look at a bunch of different contracts. This might not make sense to you because it's pretty not high level finance, but stuff that not a lot of people do. But I would go in, look at the price of these call options, and I would tell ChatGPT, I would say, hey, can you tell me what is the best price for this call option based on the Black-Scholes theory? And it would go through and tell me based on this very big calculation which one is the best.
and was it accurate? Because I've heard that these large language models are good for English and history sometimes, but not as good at math because they sometimes hallucinate.
Yeah, I think it was pretty accurate. I mean,
okay.
I saw a high success rate from this strategy that I was running with ChatGPT.
And did you pay for ChatGPT Pro, or was this all on the free version?
This was on the free version,
Oh,
but I
nice.
own ChatGPT Pro now.
Oh, that's nice. That's great. So artificial intelligence, what percentage of that would you say is important to your investing and finance career club?
Oh, 100% of it. I think right now Claude is the one that dominates everything.
Yeah, I've heard
That's
of
the
it.
one that everybody in the finance club, you'll go into the Charles Schwab lab that we have here on campus. Everybody's
Yeah.
talking about Claude and how
Yeah.
everybody needs to get familiar with Claude. But overall, AI is super important in every industry right now. I mean, if you are good at using AI, then you can get any job in the world because they're going to need young people that know how to use AI to be able to teach the senior executives in a certain job. So, I mean, I think a lot of fresh college students can go graduate college, go into a firm in finance or any field, and have a position where they're teaching, I mean, 50-year-olds and up about how to use AI. And I mean, they'll have a pretty good role right out of college.
Yeah. And you just brought up the Schwab building. Have you ever used the Bloomberg terminals in there?
I do use the Bloomberg terminals. I go there about twice a week
Oh, okay.
with my buddy. But it's always packed in there. I mean, those computers are the smartest finance computers in the world. And there's just so much to benefit off of it as a finance major. And there's so much knowledge that you can gain from them.
What exactly do they do? I've never seen one in person.
Yeah, so you can go in and you can get really high level information about companies. And you can go in and
Like from the news?
you get really up to date feed from the news.
Okay.
But it's more so going in, looking at, okay, what is this company's value?
Mhm.
What are some key like components about this company? And it just gives you more information than you're able to get on a regular app like Yahoo Finance. And one of the key things that I found really interesting is I found a way to go in and see the chance of a recession in certain countries. I did that first semester, but that was really cool. So you can get really cool statistics like that.
And where are they getting the data?
I think they're getting it from Bloomberg.
Just like the company?
I think so, yeah.
And do they have people around the world that send the information to them, like reporters?
I'm not 100%
okay.
sure, but
Yeah, I've always been interested in them because they came out just like a little bit before the internet, and now we're entering the AI era. So, have they embraced artificial intelligence, or are they just still the same?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think there's artificial intelligence on it, but you can obviously use AI to help you use
Summarize
the
it.
terminals. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you for coming on to Pulse, and hope you tell your friends about it and come on another
For
time.
sure, man. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming on. And we are back. Hopefully you guys can see this.
Missionary gets kidnapped.
Froze, so we had to fix that. Unfortunately, our video is not playing right now, but I'm not going to let that stop us. I'm going to play the video. I just have to find out where exactly it is stored, and we are going to play this video. I will not allow this to happen, and the new podcast will come out. We're gonna have to edit this a lot, a lot. Any day now. Today would be a good day to copy this file as a path. I don't know why it's doing this, but this video was edited in Instagram Edits, not the one that we just saw, but the video that we're just about to see. And Instagram Edits is an amazing application, has great features, has auto captioning, except that one problem is that it freezes all the time, and I don't know why it does that. Like I can be editing in the timeline, and 5 minutes in it will freeze. I can be editing and they're doing like captions, sometimes it will just freeze, and you have to sometimes leave the application to fix that, and that is a major problem within the application. Hopefully they can get that fixed. And now we're about to go live. We're going to show the video on the screen.
Hi guys, we are here at GCM. We're going to
the polling data. Everyone says that the polls don't matter. Well, let's see what the polls have to say about Megan Basham's tweet. And hope you guys can. I'm going to rewind this. Hope you guys can see this on the screen.
Hi guys, we are here at GCM. We're going to be asking girls about what they think about Megan Basham's thoughts on Altitude State, who apparently it's Modesty Gate season in America again, and apparently, Altitude State, the clothes that you guys see on screen is bad because legs or something. As everyone knows, as it's written in 1 Corinthians, legs are bad, don't have them. Anyway, we're going to be interviewing girls and compile the best interviews together, see what they have to think about the Altitude State Clothes, a Christian fashion brand company. As always, of course, this interview is sponsored by Scoot Tag. Get your Scoot Tags today.
I like the clothes, but I think they're expensive. I think they're really expensive. Yeah.
Fun fact here in this interview, there's a helicopter hovering above a house telling people to leave. So that's why you hear that in the background. Just back to the interview.
I agree. I think they're expensive and I feel like a lot of people have them.
I think they're really cute and I want to buy one. I think the outfits are super cute and I like the brand because they sell cute Christian clothes and Bibles.
In a statement released to Pulse via Snapchat, a recent podcast guest said, quote, "Wait, what's wrong with the pic?" End quote.
I love it. Their clothes are beautiful.
Alter State is a good clothing brand, very good, high quality, but their stuff's a little overpriced. I have like one dress from there. It was probably about $200. It was a good investment. I love the dress, but it was a little expensive. It's really aesthetic, and they have nice jewelry arrangements. But they don't have very many deals.
Do you like the music they play?
It's okay. It's just kind of like chill, like very white girl music.
Do you like Altered State?
I do.
And do you like any of the clothes in the picture?
I like the blue dress the most.
I think Alter State's a very good brand, but it is pretty pricey.
I like it, but I don't really shop there.
I think it has a lot of good clothes, but I think that their prices need to go down just a little bit with the quality of them.
I feel like their clothes are very cute, but I feel like for the price, the quality isn't where it should be.
I really like it, and I think their clothes are very cute.
I also really like Altered State. I think they have really good clothes and jewelry, and I think they're a great company.
You like their music?
I do. I like that they're a Christian company, and I really like that.
I agree. I really like that they're a Christian company. However, their clothes are a tad bit expensive.
I think it's a really cool brand. I like their Christian background as well that they are publicly putting out, and then I think they have really cute clothes and a nice, well-designed store as well.
I also like their Christ-like environment, and I also like the quality of their clothes, and they both have like an athletic line and normal lines.
Pulse, the heartbeat of America, of course, telling you, signing off now, to trust in the polls. What do we see here today? Everybody liked the brand, and the only criticism that we had was that it was super expensive. And when pressed on its faith-based connections, they both said that they liked the faith-based. They all said that they liked the faith-based connections. No one said anything about how, it was wrong or whatever, and it was a bad witness or anything like that. So, once again, I do know that Christy, Marie, Lamont, and I are in some sort of a non-aggression pact right now to go target our enemies, the enemies of the data centers and the enemies of America, like Paul, Anthony, Hoti, and others. Even though we are in some sort of an app, I will say this to you today. While you may exist in your hypothetical world, you might have seen in the video where she compares one of the dresses to lingerie, which is okay, Christy. Well, in that video, that's one of her statements, and Megan Basham did like that, so that's a nice thing there. While you might exist in this hypothetical world, I exist in the world of truth and reality, a world in which people will jump over my head, and also a world in which I was once again proven right. From SSA LTW actually happening in schools, from me calling teenage dating a threat to national security, to me saying, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't start the stupid war again. It's a useless, futile war that no one agrees with and nobody wants. And guess what? It's not even a sin. It's not a sin, and in the gray area, the polling data always wins. Signing off for now. God bless. Tech talk to you later, and pray for America. Yeah, now I just have to sit here for like 30 seconds and not say anything. God bless you. God bless America.